Imagine a king so powerful, he built towers that scraped the heavens, an empire that swallowed nations, a man who looked at the sun and said, "I control life, I control death, I am God." Na'uzu billah. And then one insect ended it all. His name was Namrood ibn Canaan, though history remembers him only as Namrood the Arrogant. He ruled from the cradle of civilization, Babylon, the city of hanging gardens and stargazing priests. He didn't just conquer lands, he conquered minds. Temples were built in his image. Poets sang his name. Prisoners were forced to kneel and say, "There is no God but Namrood." But one man refused to bow, a young prophet from the desert. His name? Ibrahim. Namrood laughed at the idea of a higher power. He summoned Ibrahim to his court, not to debate, but to humiliate. "You say your God gives life and death? Watch this." For the first time in his life, the king who controlled armies, gold, and fear had no answer. Defeated in public, Namrood's pride turned to poison. He doubled his blasphemy, built a tower higher than the clouds to fight God in the sky, sacrificed thousands to prove his power. But the one above does not answer with thunder. Sometimes he answers with silence, and then with a whisper. One night, as Namrood slept in his ivory palace, a tiny creature, smaller than a fingernail, slipped through the silk curtains and entered his royal nose. The mosquito didn't just bite, it burrowed deep into his sinus, then his brain. Days turned to weeks. The king who controlled silence now begged for it. He offered gold for relief, burned incense, screamed at the sky, but the buzzing grew louder. "Make it stop! I'll give half my kingdom!" On the 40th day, the mosquito reached the center of his mind. One final sting. The most powerful man in the world died not by sword, poison, or rebellion, but by a creature God made in a single breath. Namrood's tower crumbled, his statues were forgotten, but his story, it travels farther than any empire. Because power without humility is just a louder kind of weakness. Next time you feel untouchable, remember the king and the mosquito.